Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 48 of the Zoomer Sports Radio. And I'm joined by a special guest for today's podcast. He was a starting pitcher for the 2022 Regional Championship, Glenbard West Hilltoppers. He's a Division I pitcher at UCF right now. Honestly, the kid's my best friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kyle Rossy onto the show.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
What up, Kyle? So this actually isn't even your first appearance on Zoomer Sports, is it?
No, it isn't. Last year came on for some college football talk.
Yeah, so last year I did like 3 college football shows or so, where it's just me and I would take on callers. And Kyle actually was where we call you? We said you were from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Kalamazoo, yeah.
And you gave your picks for the Iowa State game, which lost.
It did lose. It did lose.
All right, we are now joined by Kyle from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kyle, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about some college football betting. All right.
It would have won this year because Iowa sucks, dude. They lost to Illinois yesterday, 9-6.
Perfect Big Ten game right there.
Dude, worst offense in the entire NCAA.
Iowa. How about Illinois? Illinois being ranked for the first time in 11
Illinois
years.
5-1. Shout out Will McKinnon's team. He told me I didn't think he was being serious at first, but he told me before week 1 when they played, who'd they play? Like Indiana, and they lost. He's like, we're winning the Big Ten West this year.
They control the destiny.
They are number 1 right now. Them in Minnesota. Yeah. And they play each other next week. So shout out Money McKinnon for that. And this episode is brought to you by SeatGeek, the official ticketing sponsor of Zoomer Sports. If you're ever looking for tickets to a sporting event or concert, use SeatGeek, and at checkout, use promo code Zoomer Sports. All capitalized. David Kaplan, how do you spell that?
Zoomer Sports. ZOOMER Sports.
Use that code for 20% off your purchase of the tickets. Thank you, SeatGeek. Possibly the worst ad read of all time on the spot right there.
It doesn't matter.
We have sponsors now, so shout out SeatGeek. Go use SeatGeek. And anyway, let's get the podcast on the road. So Kyle, we both grew up in the same town, same high school of Glen Ellen, Illinois. And how did you get introduced to the game of baseball? And how did you fall in love with it at a young age?
I mean, it was kind of always the sport. I mean, my dad played it. He played in college. He played at UConn. And then he actually played in Australia when he lived there for a few years. And it was just kind of always
shout out
thing.
Ed.
Yeah, gotta love him. But yeah.
By the a little sidetrack here before I let you finish. Best TikToker right now is BourbonTaster on TikTok.
Oh, it's gotta be. It's gotta be. He said he's coming for 5K.
Which is Kyle's dad. He reviews a bunch of whiskey and bourbon on TikTok, and it is a sight to see. I'll link it in the description and show an overlay here, but you definitely get a follow. Shout out Ed Ross.
Hey, Bourbon TikTok. Here's my favorite pour of the week. Fox and Odin, batch 3 out of Illinois. Here we go.
Yeah, but I mean, pretty much that was always the sport, where it was it wasn't even a question. That was just what I was going to play. And there was other sports I played as well. But I mean, that was always the first sport that I loved.
Yeah, so we actually first met each other through Rebels, which your dad ran that program, and me being a little 5'2", short kid, probably weighed 100 pounds, being on the B team every year.
Oh yeah.
And you were on the A, and we always have those inner squads, but that's how we met. And so we became friends freshman year, second semester during that during freshman baseball. And dude, I don't know, but summer going into junior year, you quit football and you were a stud football player, linebacker, quarterback, wide receiver. You could do everything. You had schools like Iowa and Northwestern looking at you. What decision made you to quit to pursue the dream of the NFL and college football to become a pitcher, PO, and just specialize in baseball?
I mean, I really always loved playing football. I mean, there was a time where I loved playing football as much as I did baseball, but it got to a point where my sophomore season, actually towards the end of the football season, I broke my right thumb and tore some ligaments in it. and
still played with it.
yes, I played with the club for the rest of the year. But it got to that, and I was like, do I really want to do this versus like, am I sacrificing part of my baseball career if I do this? Like at that point, would my time better be spent focusing on baseball? Like, would that help myself better? And I thought it would. So I made a decision. I've never looked back.
I mean, looking at it now, it seemed to be a perfect decision. You could say a similar thing happened to our friend Ryan Renfro, who is a big quarterback coming up. He moved to Allen, Texas, was getting looked at by TCU and SMU. Look at him now. He played basketball, was on the greatest team in Illinois high school sports history, and now he's balling up in West Point. So, like, similar situation here. But this is a little question about kind of like that, how you chose to specialize in baseball. What age do you think kids should choose, like, to be baseball only or just pursue only baseball, or should they keep playing multiple sports? Because like me, I was kind of forced into a cage, being like baseball was the only sport I was good enough to play. But like you could have played basketball, you could have played football, you could have been a track star. Like, what should drive kids to specialize in baseball?
I mean, I think the specialization is all based on your situation. Like, I mean, you look at Aaron Judge and they say like, oh, he was like 3-sport all-state, like all kids should play all sports. But like Aaron Judge would have been good at any sport he played. He probably would have been like an amazing player at any sport you chose. Like there's other kids though who they need to specialize. Like Moody, you're not the most athletic kid. Like if you were playing football, baseball, and basketball, you probably would have been pretty bad at all three. But like you became a really good baseball player because you were able to specialize at that. That doesn't mean that kids who are 12 years old should be specializing. I think once you get to your like sophomore year of high school, that's when you can start to make a decision.
Well, I mean, look at how I was built body-wise. I would have gotten destroyed on a football field, even though Chad Hetlett asked me to be a slot receiver maybe 5 times during our team sports class junior year. And I was just in basketball. 1, we had an all D1 starting lineup. 2, I mean, you weren't on that team, but you saw my Y-ball team sophomore year. I was a 6'1" center. I wasn't even 6'1" then. I was like 5'8". 5'8" center. And how many 5'8" centers do you know in the NBA or in college basketball?
I don't know. I mean, the shortest like big guy ever was like Charles Barkley, and he was still like 6'5".
Exactly. That answers your question. It just doesn't exist. Basketball wasn't my thing. I also can't shoot to save my life.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Shut up, dude. Shut up. Just poking at my. Hey, I will say.
You scored on Braden Huff.
I did do that. I was gonna bring up how I beat you in fungo golf every single practice. Was gonna bring that up.
It's not my thing.
You're a PO. You gotta get that down. But like, who was your biggest role model growing up and like MLB player you idolized?
Oh, it was 100% David Ortiz. That was just my favorite player.
You're not even a pitcher?
No.
I mean, he's not even a pitcher?
Yeah. I mean, growing up, that was just always my favorite player. I remember his grand slam to tie the game in, I think it was the 8th inning of the ALCS. Yeah. And like just that like image in my mind of, I think it was Torrey Hunter flying over the wall, and then like the police officer with his hands in the air. That's like one of my favorite moments ever. And like when the Red Sox won in 2013 and 2018, well, he wasn't there in 2018, but like that 2013 team, that was right when I was like growing up. And so
this is our city.
Yeah.
And no one's going to dictate our freedom.
Yeah. I mean, so he was kind of always my favorite player.
This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
And then was he also your role model then too? No Ed Rossi there?
No, I mean my dad, I've always looked up to him, just his ability to like kind of how he was able to play in college, and he always worked hard. But I mean, I gotta say, like David Ortiz was just my favorite player ever, and that was the guy I always looked up to.
I will gotta say, there's no 2 minds I've met more passionate about baseball than you and your dad. I've been in your house, and you guys have gotten into screaming matches over Salvador Perez's just worthy of being a baseball player, just was worthy of a catcher.
Yeah, I mean, Salvi, you can't say he's not a great catcher, but I mean, saying he's a good defensive catcher is wild to me. But yeah, we have passionate arguments, but I mean, it's all about baseball and it's all in good fun.
I know that's the crazy thing is like you guys sound like you're like extremely upset with each other when you're just like arguing over if a guy's good at framing. It's wild, but I love you guys. It's hilarious. So going into more of the high school season, what things have you learned from college that you would like to see more implemented in our high schools for baseball wise? And you can use Glenbard West as an example, our program, and then what stuff you like kind of miss from the high school days.
I mean, yeah, think about that. Some of the stuff, I'll start with what I miss. I mean, I kind of liked the freedom of high school practice, just like kind of being able to mess around and had a certain freedom there. Like
that's
us
just
playing
the
fungo
PO
golf.
life of being a high school varsity PO.
Yeah, but
Dude, even I miss those days a lot.
Yeah, and those were just really fun, and also just being able to play with people that you grew up with, I think is a certain thing that you don't get in college. But things that I like in college, I mean, I think the attention to detail is absolutely insane. I mean, our pitching coach, Nick Oddie, does a great job with like everything that we do as a purpose. And he like explains that purpose to us so that we really buy into what we're doing. And so I think the buy-in at the college level is really amazing.
No mention of Ricky Diesel and what you miss.
Oh, no, that's the number one thing I miss. Ricky Diesel, probably definitely up there with the favorite baseball coaches of all time, just as a person.
Dude,
just because of
top 5 people I've ever met. Rick DeZango.
Yeah, he's got to be up there. He's just the best.
Yeah, I mean, buckle that chin strap. The ball across the alumni stripe.
Regional finals today at 10. Be there. Time to buckle the chin strap.
Let's go, baby.
That's what you got to do.
Dude, and one thing I miss about high school baseball is just like having that sense of a team of let's talk about our junior year team was way different than our senior year team.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that our senior year team, pretty much, I'd probably say 90% of the guys on that team bought into the team. Junior year, probably say only the juniors, honestly, a handful of seniors.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a different feeling the senior year. I mean, I still love the junior year team. I love all those guys.
It was awesome.
It was really fun and a really fun baseball season. But, I mean, I think senior year, we had such a senior-heavy team that those were guys that I've all grown up with. And, like, you as well. Like, it was so much closer and, like, much more close-knit.
Oh, yeah. Like, Lago, Nolan, Jack, Billy, Trevor, like, all these guys that we had played Rebels with and grown up. It's just like, it's something I do miss a lot. It's just like, it was just another way to get to know people. I guess you could say like I know stuff about, like, I'll use Jason Valdez for an example. He's a juniors in the grade below. Like, I've gotten to know Jason Valdez really well. Without baseball, I wouldn't have even known the kid. So like, it's just like wild, like what baseball can do. And then like, just like, I gotta shout out Schultz for like this. Just like the way he brought our team together this year was phenomenal, in my opinion. And honestly, we probably could have made it down to Joliet if Nolan doesn't go to Italy. But like, we'll just leave that there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Schultz did an amazing job. I mean, I think he knew that our junior year that we weren't really as close knit, and I think
we weren't
having
but,
that.
Like, talent wise, our senior year team like could arguably be like one of the most talented senior classes in Glenbard West baseball history.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk about the recruiting process for you, Kyle. So obviously, what you committed at the beginning of junior year to UCF?
Yeah, October of my junior year.
Talk about the recruiting process for you as a freshman all the way to a senior, just like how it happened, what you had to do, and like how teams contacting you, all that, for maybe some of the kids and parents out there who might be going through very similar processes in the baseball world very soon?
Yeah. So my freshman and sophomore year, I actually was only contacted for football. Um, like schools like Iowa and Northwestern were the only schools that I was contacted by for any sport, and it was for football. But then my summer going into my junior year, I had gained a lot of velo, and I went out and to some tournaments in Georgia, and I threw really well, got up to like 91, and that's when everything happened, and it was like the snap of a finger, and it was just schools from all over the country wanting to call me and stuff like that. So it kind of was very rapid for me. So I would say the first time I talked to a school was probably late June, and I was committed by that October. So it was very rapid for me, which I know isn't the deal for everybody else. But I mean, I really enjoyed my recruiting process. It kind of started with I pitched in Georgia, talked to a bunch of schools, and then I went up to the PBR Futures games, which was the COVID year. So we weren't back in Georgia. We were up in at the Rock in Milwaukee, I think it is. And I pitched really well there, and that was when it really exploded from there.
So just like go more in depth. So like say you just got the six inning start, 8 strikeouts, 1 run given up. Like what goes on in those conversations when the coach comes up to you after a game?
Yeah, so I actually never had a coach come up to me after the game
Really?
because coaches weren't allowed to go to games during COVID. So that happens a lot more now, but mine was way different because coaches couldn't go to games. They would watch it on live streams. And so like after I pitched in futures games at the Rock, I remember like I got in the car to drive home, and it's a 2-hour drive home, and it's just coaches like calling and texting you because they give out your information on the live stream. And I was just getting calls from different schools, just like, hey, we thought you pitched really well. And they wanted to set up future calls to like get to talk about like their program and stuff like that. And I mean, it was all very new to me at that point.
What do you think kids could do, high school, freshman, sophomore, and juniors, to increase their chances to get recruited, not only by Division I schools, but by D3, JUCOs, all the whole shebang?
I think the number one thing that kids have to focus on, and it's pretty obvious, but is you have to be good enough. Like you have to put in the work to have some tools that schools want to look at you. Like for hitters, it's going to be you have to have elite tools to play at a high level. So you have to be either be extremely fast, you have to be able to hit the ball harder than everybody else, or you have to be able to like hit for average and like better than anybody else. And for pitchers, you either have to throw the ball harder than everybody else, you have to make the ball move more than everybody else, or like you have to have something that you're elite at. And then after that, it's just marketing that elite skill. So whether it is like tagging Flat Ground app on Twitter, which is like kind of like a reposting platform where they'll repost whatever you post, and college coaches will be able to see that, or whether it's going to showcases. And I'm not the biggest fan of showcases in terms of like going to multiple ones, but like going to a PBR showcase or a perfect game showcase once just to get your name out, like to get kind of like your stats on your profile, I think can be very beneficial. And then the last thing is just playing in tournaments where coaches are going to be there.
Yeah, so like those tournaments would be like East Cobb, perfect game down in Marietta, Lake Point in Georgia. Well, like those are just like perfect game and PBR, like the tournaments you want to be at if you want to get looked at by these elite level coaches.
I mean, yeah, I think the main places are perfect game up in Cedar Rapids. That's a place where there's a lot of
dude.
Iowa.
Don't you don't even need to speak twice about perfect game Cedar Rapids. I mean, we all know the story about how I shut down the Hawaiians there.
Yeah, at Colonel's. So that's a really good tournament. There's
got
Grant
that call
Park
from College, man. That's an elite baseball school.
Oh yeah.
You got Ole Miss number 1, like Vanderbilt College right there, number 3. Like
it's right up there. And then you've got like Grand Park in Indiana, which is, I mean, up there with some of the best facilities I've ever seen. And there'll be a lot of schools at every tournament there. And then you've got obviously Lake Point and East Cobb, which are the 2 like big ones. And then you've got like Hoover Met and Jupiter, which is actually happening right now, which is down in Alabama and Florida, respectively, I believe.
So you obviously chose Central Florida, UCF. What made you go there? why did you choose that one, and what other offers did you have?
I mean, I really clicked with the coaches, and as you're talking about Rick DeZingle, I mean, he knew Coach Lovelady from one of his former players played under him at Wright State, and he really enjoyed it and had nothing bad to say about him. And once I heard that, because I really trusted Coach DeZingle, and
I mean,
once
who
I heard
doesn't?
that, yeah, I knew that was a good recommendation, and I really liked the coaches, and obviously Nick Oddie, the pitching coach, I really clicked with him, and I agreed with a lot of his philosophies, and he was really challenging me to see how good I could be, and so that really clicked. And I mean, like it came down like money is also a deal. Like they gave me a good offer, so like it all worked out from that point. Some of the other schools I was talking to, Kentucky, Miami of Ohio. I was talking to Duke and like some other school like Illinois, Indiana, Cincinnati, uh, just a bunch of schools around Iowa, Creighton. I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of schools, but then just some other mid-major, or low-major schools like Lipscomb, things like that. That was pretty much it. But I really thought UCF was the best fit for me, and so far as I can tell, it has been.
Who would you like to credit for helping you along on your journey to get into UCF the most, you would say?
I mean, number one thing has got to be my parents. They've supported me this entire way. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I have. And after that, I would probably say all my friends, they really supported me. I know Moody, he really pushed me to be better. And as much as he would like to say I pushed
No,
him,
you
he also
pushed
made
you
me.
pushed me to be better. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not all conference senior year without you. Like anyone who read the Glenbard West blog knows that. Yeah, shout out that blog. Plug the blog. Link in the description. 2022 Glenbard West season to remember. The greatest writing work I've ever done through my 4 years of high school was on this
it's
blog.
worth the read.
It really is. Like I get really truthful and heartfelt with it, and I appreciate it. But yeah, go on. But like, not just me. It was obviously Renfro, Nolan, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, when quarantine first started, me and Ryan Renfro, we would work out in my garage, and like he made me really enjoy getting better.
Shirts off mandatory, man.
Yeah, shirts off mandatory.
I forgot that was even one of our things.
Yeah,
like, that was one of our
completely forgot about that too.
Dude, first semester senior year was wild.
Yeah,
it was wild.
But apart from that, I have to thank my trainer, my first trainer, which was Tom Hackemer. He's with the Mets right now. He's recovering from Tommy John. He's in AAA with the Mets. I kind of did remote training with him throughout COVID, and that went really well. I mean, I trained with him for about a year and a half. And then Anthony Gomez and the guys at PRP, those guys really helped me. Like I didn't start working with them until after I had committed, but they really helped me achieve my, take that extra step to get better and really focus on everything. And I can't thank those guys enough for what they've done as well. And then obviously all my coaches, the guys at Elite Baseball Training, they did a great job with getting my name out there and really supporting me throughout everything. And then obviously Coach Schultz and Coach DeZingle for helping me throughout my high school baseball career too.
Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. I like that. So you're at UCF now. What are the vibes there? And like, take us through like a typical day in the life of a Division I pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I like it here. It's a lot of fun. Florida's a lot different for me, but like a typical day, I'll take you through my Mondays because they're usually like the busiest. So I would wake up. I get to sleep in on Mondays, or previously, not anymore, but I would usually wake up around like 8-ish, and I'd go to our student athlete nutrition center, get some breakfast, and then I have a 9:30 chem class that I would go to. That goes until 10:30. Go back to the room, get some more food, go back to the student athlete center for some lunch at 11:15-ish. And then I'd go to the field and I'd start working out around 11:45, 12, and that's when I would throw my bullpen. So I'd warm up, throw my bullpen, do some post throw work, do our arm care testing. So we have these arm care sensors that pretty much measures the amount of force you're putting into a wall. So we do a bunch of tests with those to just make sure. It's like we use it as a pre-test to see where we're at and make sure we're improving over time, and then as a post-test to see how much strength we lost and how fatigued we are. And I'll throw my bullpen, and then after that I'll lift. And once I finish lifting, I'll go to another class, which is at 4:30. That's a lecture class, which is 4:30 to 7, so it's kind of long. And I would have one of my
2.5 hours for one class.
Yeah, it's split up into like
sucks.
two things.
That sucks. Is it one a lab?
No, so it's like a symposium class because I'm in the honors college. It's like a required class.
You're smarter than goddamn Albert Einstein.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
you just showing up to Miss Cooper's class, not studying for a single test. Oh, missed one question, 98. Me studying my ass off, 82. I'm so happy with that. But I'm like, man,
yeah.
You and Caden Pierce, just the most naturally smart people I've ever met.
Yeah, but then so that class it's 4:30 to 5:50 of like they kind of try to give you like the skills to like, I don't know, be successful outside once you graduate. So and then from 6 to 6:50 is like a breakout session within that class. And then I have one of my roommates grab me dinner from the Student Athlete Nutrition Center because it doesn't open till 4:30, which is my class. And then after that class ends, I have mandatory study hall from 7 to 9. So I'd eat my dinner at study hall, and then like after that I go to sleep when I get back.
So do you have study hall every night?
No, so Monday is our mandatory day where it's 7 to 9, like you have to be there. But then after that, you just have to get 8 hours total throughout the week, and those 2 hours count. So after that, you just have to get 6 hours throughout the week of being checked into study hall.
What role do you see yourself on the team as a freshman this year at UCF?
I mean, honestly, we just started inter squads, and I just want to be in whatever role I can. Obviously, I want to play the most, but help the team the most mainly. I'd love to get as many innings, and whether that's in a long relief, short relief, starter role, any of that. Like, I just want to get on the field and play as much as possible. But I'm really excited, and I think I can help the team in whatever way I can.
What are the biggest perks of being a Division I athlete?
It's got to be the food. I've seen the food halls at like some of the other dining halls that students go to, and it is just not. It's like it's all right, but
have you seen one of the photos of the chicken here at Clemson? I sent.
I haven't. But
dude, it's pink. It's medium rare. It's rare chicken.
Medium rare chicken. Yeah, that's nice. But we get like it's really nice. We get all you can eat like steaks, stuff like that. You can order your own food from a kiosk, or they have a hot bar, which is like really nice. And that's really the best part because I love eating, and so that's probably the biggest perk.
Well, how's the merch there? How much merch do you get?
Merch? So we got 2 shirts, 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of shorts in the summer. And then we got a pair of turf shoes, a pair of game cleats, a pair of running shoes, a pair of lifting shoes, and another pair of running shoes. And then another pair of lifting shoes. So we have like 2 lifting shoes, cleats, turfs, 2 pairs of running shoes, 2 workout shirts, 2 workout shorts, 2 practice shirts, 2 practice shorts, practice pants, just a bunch of stuff, hats, obviously.
Yeah, I got lost. You've
gloves.
been naming so much stuff. I got lost.
Yeah, and then custom gloves. Those haven't come in yet, but you have to customize your own, like pro preferred, whatever you want. Heart of the Hide.
Man, your life must be brutal, man. Just a free Rawlings glove like that.
Yeah, they're like $500. It's pretty nice.
And then how are the facilities? How are the baseball field, or how are the baseball facilities training wise? And then how's the physical stadium itself?
I mean, I really like our stadiums because everything is like right there. So if you walk into our facility, you have our nutrition room like right on the left, right there, and then all the coaches' offices are there too. And then as you keep going, there's our we have our own training room, our own weight room, which a lot of teams on campus don't have here. So those are really big because like instead of having to go to like halfway across campus to go to a weight room to lift, like we kind of have our own weight room right there, which kind of allows us to do different stuff in terms of like recovery as well and warm up stuff as well, being able to use the weight room to warm up and things like that. And then we have our locker room. And then as soon as you walk out of the locker room, we have our batting cages and like pitchers warm up area, which is all right there. And so it's very compact, like in terms of like where everything is placed. So everything you need is right there, and it's really awesome. And the stadium itself, it's really beautiful. We have a brand new scoreboard in right center field. It's pretty huge. And I can't wait to see it like fully packed, obviously, because that'll be a lot different. But I really love the stadium.
What's the name of the stadium?
It's John Uliano Park.
John Uliano Park.
Yes.
All right. So, guys, if you want to go see Kyle and the rest of the UCF Knights play baseball at John Uliano Park, download the SeatGeek app and use code ZoomerSports, all capitalized, for 20% off on your tickets to go see the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Rossy, either pitch or choose sunflower seeds in the bullpen. Both are very good options. So download the SeatGeek app. Just another great ad read right there.
Oh yeah, got to get them in.
You've been talking about all the glamours and awesome things about being a D1 athlete, but like, what's the hardest part about being a D1 athlete? And like, what do you kind of miss from home being over 1,000 miles away?
I mean, I definitely miss all my friends at home and my parents and stuff like that. Just not being able to go home for weekends kind of tough because a lot of the guys here are from Florida,
on that.
So they can just go home for a weekend because a lot of the guys, they'll live in like either Tampa or like Boca Raton, which are like an hour and a half and 3 hours away. So really, it's not that bad for them, but not being able to go home is huge. But definitely like the hardest part of this is just like there's a lot of work you have to do. And if you really don't love your sport, you're not going to have fun at all and you're going to hate it because you've got team meetings, you've got weights, you've got practice, you've got pre-practice stuff, you've got post-practice stuff, you've got like you have to study, like for pitchers, you have to study your metrics and things like that and do scouting reports and things like that. And it's really a lot. And so it's definitely a lot more work, but you just have to love it.
Let's talk about your pitch arsenal and your mechanics. I'm gonna let you go in depth on that.
All right. So I've got a fastball. I'm kind of like a low slot, low 3/4-ish. 4-seam fastball, changeup, slider. Been working on a little slurve type pitch. My best pitch is probably my slider. It really gets a lot of movement and it stays up really well. So it's a straight sweeper. And my fastball really works well up in the zone because I'm able to get some vertical break from my low arm slot. So like when I throw, instead of my hand being here and spinning the ball on its side, my wrist is like kind of here, which is really like kind of unorthodox. I don't know how I do it, but that kind of helps me get more backspin so it plays up in the zone better. And then my changeup's kind of, it's been a work in progress for a while. I throw like a split grip. I wish I had a ball that I could show you, but hold up, I actually do.
I mean, I got a ball too.
So I've got some.
You think you're special? I got my high school glove and a ball ready to go. I could you see, Kyle likes to say that he wouldn't be where he is today without me, but legit I would be nowhere near as good. I wouldn't have been all conference. Just like to put that out again. All conference. This is a slider Kyle taught me to throw, and then the splitter, which were my two main strikeout pitches. Like, you remember the Hinsdale game when Ben Oosterbaan struck out on my splitter that almost hit him?
Yeah.
Like we remember that. We don't like to talk about the final of that game.
Oh, but yeah, that was little asterisks on that final.
Here, yeah. Let's get back to your pitching mechanics. We'll talk more about Glenbard West baseball a little bit towards the end of the show, but go back to your pitching mechanics.
So I'll go through my pitch grips and then I'll like kind of go through my mechanics. So my 4-seam fastball is pretty basic. Kind of hold it like that. Kind of just very normal. My slider is probably one of the weirdest slider grips. What are you writing down?
Show your grip. I'm taking notes.
My slider is really weird. So I wedge my pointer finger like my pointer finger right here. I kind of wedge that kind of like that, and then I hold it, everything else as loose as possible. And then when I throw, I'm just trying to think like stay behind it and like kind of spin it like a basketball with my pointer finger right there. My changeup is a split changeup grip. I hold it like that.
My hands aren't big enough to hold it like that. That looks painful.
It's really not painful. I'm pretty used to it, and then I just throw it normal and it splits out of my hand like that and gets kind of spin like that. And then my curve ball, more like a slurve type pitch. This one's probably my most normal. It's just a spike curve, spike it, bring my thumb up a little bit, kind of up on this lace right here. And then I just try to match my arm slot and really pull it across. And you want me to show you like my pitching mechanics?
I mean, like you can just talk about them because like you take a lot of pride in your pitching mechanics. Like like you talk like elbow up on the backside, not like you don't want to like here.
Oh yeah, I mean like I like my mechanics. I've been working on them. I think the way I've got my mechanics to work is really through just like self-organizing, kind of giving myself the task of throwing the ball as hard as I can at a target and letting my body self-organize around that and kind of let it problem solve. Like there's this task that I have to do. I have to throw this ball as hard as I can at that mitt. And I really just trust myself that my body will organize over time to get better at doing that. And I think the body's really smart in its ability to do that. So some of the things that like kind of stand out in my mechanics is I really get like flipped up. Like if my shoulders are here, my arm will get flipped up way back here and then it'll come through. So it's very whippy from that standpoint. Got a pretty high leg kick. I'll send you a video that you can put in.
All right. I can just look at some of your TikToks. Like
no, it's changed a little bit. We'll have it the most accurate version. I mean, not a lot, but they're a little different.
Probably a little better, I would say.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I come kind of out here with it. I kind of like my mechanics a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And one last thing about college before we hit into some other segments is how is the NIL process worked with UCF and baseball? And you're obviously somewhat kind of big on TikTok. Should be posting more. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but
yeah,
you were on that TikTok grind for a while. But just how is the NIL? Just what have been your processes with the NIL so far at UCF?
So there's like a big emphasis on that. So we kind of have a team deal with Fanatics to get our jerseys, and so that was my first NIL deal.
Go buy that Kyle Rossy jersey.
Yeah, number 27.
You can wear to John Alunio Park with your SeatGeek Consumer Sports. All right, continue.
John Uliano Park.
I'm never gonna pronounce that.
But that was kind of our first deal. There's some other guys who have, like Cole Russo is on the team. He has a pretty large TikTok following, and like I know he gets a lot more NIL deals, but they do a good job of informing us on like how we should approach it, and they have people that you can go to with your NIL contracts to make sure that it's a good deal and that you're not getting scammed out of anything, because it's kind of like the Wild West right now. There's not many regulations, so athletes can almost get like screwed over at some points. So definitely being able to have people that we can turn to and be like, hey, is this a good deal? Like, am I getting screwed out of anything? You know, being able to do that is huge.
And how are the guys and how are your teammates in the locker room and all that? How are you liking UCF like the physical your teammates?
I really love all our teammates. All my teammates. It's a really fun group of guys. Getting to know the freshmen over the summer, I've gotten a lot closer with them, and my roommates as well. But I think we have a really good thing going in terms of like everybody's always having fun in the locker room. Really, no terms of fights or anything like that. And I think it's a really good time with all the guys, and they all want to work hard and they all want to get better. And I think that's huge. And we all have fun together out on the weekends, and it's a really good time. Like, you know that it's a good team when people are wanting to hang out with each other on the weekends and wanting to do things with each other and not just be with each other during practice and things like that.
Yeah, good to know there's no Draymond Green, Jordan Poole situations
with
the UCF baseball program.
No punches being thrown.
Before we shift to the final two segments of this podcast, Kyle, I want to go back to high school again. So let's talk about, obviously, your junior season didn't go the way we all anticipated to, wanted to, or expected to. You had just committed that fall of junior year. You obviously did have some bright spots, but it obviously wasn't the season we envisioned you having. A senior year, you battled through injury, you battled through a bunch of stuff. Mentally, you came back and you were down the stretch the best pitcher on our team, arguably with Chase, arguably with me. But you were definitely brought the most energy to the mound. You were like, what mentally did you do to like not let junior year happen again and like bounce back? Like, what mentally did that affect you, and how did you overcome that?
I mean, I guess I realized that I was putting way too much pressure on myself. I thought that I had to be the best pitcher when I realized that, like, I was the best pitcher. All I had to do was just
by far.
Like, the only thing I had to do was just go out and play. And I was putting way too much pressure on myself junior year, and that caused some mental problems and like some mental blocks that definitely hurt me. And senior year, I came out, and I remember after I hurt my ankle, probably came back a little too soon. I was talking to our athletic trainer here
on that really cold day in Louisville.
Yeah, no. So I was talking to our athletic trainer, Kaylee Shores here, and I showed her my injury, my ankle sprain, and she was like, "So you were out for like 5-6 weeks, right?" And I was like, "No, I threw my first bullpen back 11 days later." And she was like, "What the fuck? Like, what?" And I was like, "I don't know. I was just trying to throw." So I remember after that game, after I came back and my ankle was still pretty messed up. There was no pain, but I really couldn't move it, and I had a horrible start to start the season. I remember thinking, I'm like, that's not who I am this year. Like, that's just not it. Like, I knew in myself, and probably no one else on the team thought that it was any different than the year before. But I knew to myself, I was like, that doesn't change anything for me. And it took me a little while to get past that ankle injury. I think the biggest thing that helped us was almost all those rainy days where we played like one game in 11 days. And that was honestly the best thing because it allowed my ankle to heal fully. And after that, I mean, it was just me showing who I actually was. And like, our pitching coach has a great saying, like, he doesn't expect you to be anything more than who you are on game day. Like, on game day, all he wants you to be is he wants you to be yourself. And that, like, every time when you play, you are your ability minus your like distractions, or like when you play, what you show is your ability minus what is distracting you from being that. And that could be injuries, that could be mental things. And so really realizing that my ability was there and that I just had to cut out the distractions and just be myself was huge.
Yeah, and then like you helped me. Obviously, I struggled with something very similar at the very beginning of my senior year. I like tried to be like a machine on the mound, which is completely not who I am. I try to like be like locked in, quote unquote, and like control everything when I'm obviously not. And when I like, obviously after that LT start that went horrible, Schultz talked to me, you talked to me, you guys brought my confidence back. You just be like, you just gotta go, you just gotta, or like, you just man, like you're more talented than last year. Like, you just gotta go pitch and like be yourself out there. Like, you just be like your normal, like happy, like making people laugh. Just be moody is what you and Schultz.
Yeah.
Just be my normal, like my last name, just my personality, not the physical like emotion. Moody.
Yeah.
I hope no one misinterpreted that, but just want to make that clear. Just like be myself, and then that's what it's saying. Just play baseball and have some fun came in, and I pitched, and the pitching stocks were back too. Can't forget about those.
Yeah, that's the
and
biggest
I pitched
thing.
with like a 0.7 ERA the rest of the year after that.
Yeah, I mean I think
you
that was
pitched
a
with
big
like
thing.
A 1.7 if you get rid of that Kentucky start.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest thing, just like realizing that I was good enough and just had to do it. I was thinking of something.
Well, you're probably
I lost
bringing
my
up
train
like,
of thought.
I do have a question. Regional finals, St. Charles East. Oh, is it top or bottom of the 7th? There was a bunt hit.
I'm still mad at you for this.
Dude, all right. So I said like this
I
is
still-
a blur
okay.
to me. I don't know if I could catch that ball or not. This plate is a blur. I remember throwing the pitch. Once the ball hit the bat, I have no memory until I got the out. Like that's
Okay.
a blur for me right now.
So first of all, I should have closed that game out. That was the cheapest hit I've ever seen in my life in the left field by that kid. Literally pretty much broke his bat and laying it down for a hit. So I should have closed that game out. Should have been a CG. Game should have been over. But Moody gets put in. First pitch, kid tries to bunt, pops it up. Moody gets right next to where the ball's going to land and then stops and like chops his feet and waits for it to drop and then picks it up and throws it to first instead of catching it and holding the guy at third.
Dude, I don't think I could have caught it. I felt like I had to dive. I swear. Dude,
Willowbrook junior year season.
I don't remember.
Willowbrook junior season, you know that I made that. I made an even harder play. That was in foul territory.
Sure, that was a good play. You're also like a million times more athletic than me.
But that was in foul territory.
You're a PO by choice. You're not a PO by force. Like there's a difference.
Yeah. But I remember what I was going to say earlier about like that mentality when pitching. Like not everybody's going to be able to be Max Scherzer. Like not everybody's going to be able to go out there and like pretty much mother everybody and just be like, I'm like so intense. The way I think of it is just like be yourself. And then when you get in those intense moments, ride the adrenaline. Like don't try and fight it. Don't try and be too calm. Don't try and be too intense. Just be yourself. And then when the adrenaline comes, because it will come like first inning of the game. Like when I know that when I go out for my first game in the spring, I'm going to be amped up just because from the adrenaline and I'm not going to fight it. You just got to be like, yeah, let's go. Like this is it. But you just got to be yourself. And then like when you get in those middle innings, that's when you'll stay like kind of even keel is when you're being yourself. And then when you get into trouble, ride the adrenaline rush. And that's how I like kind of like to think of it. Because nobody can be Max Scherzer. Like that's not everybody's gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, just remember like it was yesterday. Just riding that adrenaline and running out of the dugout at beautiful Don Burns Field, Village Green 2. Got shipped up to Boston playing. Got once I get my warm-ups done, got a Nolan there at third base, just repeating my quote, just play baseball and have some fun. And yeah. Like I do miss the high school days. Like, so is there any other takeaways from Glenbard West baseball? Funny stories that you got off the top of your head and want to share with the Zoomer Sports radio listeners?
Let me think of anything you forgot to mention in the
Obviously,
article.
Stuff in the blog would be mentioned, like Louisville was awesome. Like,
yeah.
I mean, besides
the 6 mile hike, losing power.
I didn't enjoy the hike.
Me being
before,
sick the whole week.
Oh, I forgot about losing power to write that in the blog. Holy cow.
Yeah, we lost power our last night.
How did I forget that? That?
I mean, it was
Zingle with his spooky laugh there.
Louisville was fun because it was so shitty, but we were all in it together. Like I was sick the first 2 days, like wanted to puke it was the second 2 days I was sick and I just felt like shit. And but so did everybody. I had to eat Arby's right before, or was it you or me had to eat Arby's right before?
That was you had to eat the Arby's.
Yeah,
and we didn't
I
get
had to
food
eat
after.
Arby's right before I pitched, and then we didn't get dinner that night, and then the power went out the last night that we were there. Like it was so shitty.
Hold up. The first night that Texas Roadhouse hit hard.
That was amazing, but I also ate way too much.
Dude, Louisville was a fun trip. I wouldn't say it was like shitty, but like obviously everyone in our grade was down in Florida, like having like a good time. But like honestly, I wouldn't have traded those 4 days for a trip to Florida because I just had so much fun with the 24 guys on our team.
Yeah, I mean, it was like when I say it's shitty, I mean like it was like everybody else is in fucking Florida and we're here, but it was fun because we were all together and that was the main thing.
Yeah. And that's something we didn't really have on the junior year season was chemistry.
Yeah, but I also think we didn't have that. We didn't have the spring training. Yeah.
We also, we didn't like, we could only see each other at practice, like within West at practice or at our games. And like we were wearing masks in the building. Like I will say, but like Schultz did a really good job for that senior year team. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways from West baseball? It was a good time. It was a great
time.
4 months of baseball, and I do miss it. But all right, Kyle, we got some rapid fire questions before we get to our final segment of.
Okay.
So we're gonna do some rapid fire questions. I got 6 questions for you here. Ready? Best cereal.
Yep. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Really, not Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms is up there, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Favorite movie?
Oh, nobody's gonna know this. End of Evangelion. It's an anime movie.
What the hell is that?
It's an anime movie, but
okay, give a normal.
I'll go Blade Runner 2049.
All right, good pick. Harrison Ford, gotta love it. All right, favorite Mr. Renfro lunch.
Oh my god!
So anyone who
gotta be a
steaks.
It's gotta be a steaks. No steaks.
By far.
His fajita tacos with the queso.
All right, for anyone who doesn't know, Kyle, myself, Jack Cardwell, and Caden Pierce, along with Jack Desmond and Ryan Renfro the period before, we'd go and eat in Renfro's house. Mr. Renfro would cook us food. Let alone his son wasn't even in our lunch period; he was in the period before us. But he would treat us like sons. And God, I miss Mr. Renfro. I miss those lunch days.
I can't wait to see him.
Pizzas.
Oh
dude,
my god,
dude!
I can't even think about that.
Caden, Jack, you and me, we single-handedly kept home running from going out of business by consuming like 3 frozen pizzas a day.
Yeah, but I can also never eat a home run in pizza ever again.
Dude, I really want one so bad just for the nostalgia. I really do. When Thanksgiving break, when we're all at Renfro comes home for Thanksgiving break, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope because I know he's home right now. But we're getting the gang back together at Renfro's house and we're eating home run and pizza. That's what we're doing. With Mr. Renfro. Yeah. I miss Mr. Renfro. All right. Next question is favorite memory in Miss Cooper's class. These have gotten a lot more personal ever since they get more personal down the list.
Favorite memory of Miss Cooper's.
This isn't even rapid fire anymore. This is slow motion.
Yeah, it's not rapid fire anymore. I gotta think. It's got to be her and Caden's hooky series. They would play hooky.
Yeah, there's this game that in class where like you would have like 6 rings, and there was a giant like pegboard, and you had to get the rings on the board, and you had to get the numbers to add up to 31.
Yeah,
and the series started like 4-4, and then Caden won like 17 in a row to close out the school year. It was the most dominant stretch. Like Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps, Serena Williams, their stretches, they hold nothing to Caden Pierce's stretch and hooky. That's
talk about Michael Jordan's 3-peats, and then it's like Michael Jordan's 3-peats, Caden Pierce and hooky, and then you got Michael Phelps. I think it's that 3. That's the top 3.
And then favorite Rick Dzingel quote. And favorite commish memory, 2-1.
Okay. Favorite Rick Dzingel
I
quote.
always gotta give commish a shout out. He called me the other day.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're playing pickleball. It's gonna be him and Jack Carl versus Nolan King and I. He's like,
that.
So we got that, and then he just called me yesterday to see how I was doing. So love commish.
Oh,
Pete Mustard.
Yeah, commish is he's a goat. All right. Favorite quote. It's got to be the one he said the most. Buckle the chin strap, get the ball over the alumni stripe. That was kind of like the whole thing like that we did this year. It's like, it's going to suck, but you just got to buckle the chin strap and just push it over and do it.
Regional finals today at 10. Be there. Time to buckle the chin strap.
Let's go, baby.
And that was kind of like our whole season. And then commish memory.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be when we were playing EDM in Beaster in the gym, and he was dancing to it. It was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen him ever.
That's on you guys, not me. Hey, you know what? I got to get back to work.
During like the wiffle ball games.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I miss commission, missed a single. All right, now this is the new or not. We're bringing back an old segment of Zoomer Sports here. We got a top 5 draft, top 5 college baseball uniforms. Kyle, I'm giving you the first pick.
You know, I got to go with the UCF Citronaut jerseys. I mean, like, their jerseys are just legit. They're blackout with some kind of like baby blue coloring. They call it Space U for a reason, and I think it's a really sick jersey.
I personally have not seen them, so I can't say, but I'm sticking in like the same boat sort of here with my number 1 pick of like just like being a homer here, but I'm going with the Clemson white uniforms. The one I'm wearing right now, it's clean. I'm wearing a Caden Grice jersey right now, but the Clemson white uniforms are so clean. The orange and the purple and the Tigers with the underline mix so well. But I love this Clemson jerseys.
All right. I'm going to go with the classic for my second round pick. I got to go with the Ole Miss powder blues. I had very similar jerseys. Jerseys. Yeah.
Are you gonna go any more about it?
Oh, I mean, I like their jerseys a lot. I had very similar jerseys for my travel team, so I like them.
All right, yeah. So that was my for sure number 2. Now I feel like the board is wide open right after you take Ole Miss, but like, I feel like I'm just gonna go with I'm gonna get the Tar Heel blues. I'm gonna get I'm going with the powder blue North Carolinas because like I'm thinking you can't be too heavy on the powder blues for you for your top 5, but you got to have one. And if Ole Miss isn't there, I'm taking UNC's. By far it's clean. I really like that pick number 2. You're up.
I'm gonna go with like the Vandy pinstripes. I mean, it's classic. It kind of's got like the New York Yankees feel, where it's like storied team who always wins. And even though I hate the Yankees, I still kind of have to respect that. And I think those jerseys are so clean.
All right, like I have a bone to pick with those Vandy uniforms. I think is it the black with the white pinstripe ones?
Yeah.
I think they're a little too much. I really do.
Oh, come on.
I think they're a little too much. Because I mean, I feel like they have 2, maybe 3 uniforms that are cleaner than that.
I don't think so. I think those are the classic.
And I'm taking one of them here. I'm taking the white their Vandy home uniforms, white with the gold Vanderbilt right there.
Oh no, that is so much worse.
No, those are clean. Is it white or black lettering? I'm trying to remember. Is it the cream or the white? I'm trying to think of it. But I'm taking those ones. Okay. I really like that jersey. 4th pick.
All right. Who do I want?
We both have
Vandy
in the 3 slot. Yeah,
4th
pick.
What do I want? I'm between like 2 or 3. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Notre Dame Navy Blues. I think those are so sick. They beat Tennessee in them this year. One of the biggest upsets of the year. And I think those jerseys are just so sick. I think it's so different than what any other team does. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, makes sense. I will say you don't have a single white uniform or like home uniform on your list, so you might want that just to diversify it for the 5th pick.
Yeah.
All right, so and I, on the other hand, I have one powder blue, I have 2 whites, so I definitely need to go with like an alternate here. I'm in between 2, but like I feel like this one I'm gonna go with is iconic in the baseball world, and because of that, it carries it a far way. I don't really necessarily like this school because they beat my Clemson Tigers in football a couple years ago in national championship. I'm going with the LSU Golds. I feel like
those are
it's worthy of being mentioned here, but like it's definitely not a one. It's not a round 1, round 2 pick, but like it's got to be on your list. It's like your glue guy. You need the LSU Gold on your.
I mean, there's a reason it's called championship gold. Like
exactly,
I mean,
like
yeah.
you gotta like they're day in day out grinder. You know what you're gonna get from this guy. That's the LSU Golds.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at some photos right now. I'm between 2. I'm gonna go with for my last pick. This is another classic uniform, one of the biggest schools in the country. It's got to be the Texas Whites. They're just so clean.
That was my 5th pick.
I think it's like a classic team, and I think that kind of maroonish orange is really sick. I think it works well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's Texas is a classic baseball school. It's a very well known, like that Longhorn logo with that burnt orange they got in that white. It's a phenomenal jersey. I was gonna take it. Maybe should have went with it. I should have been smart and known you only had 1 white left and should have gone white with the 4th pick instead of the LSU Gold. But
yeah,
I wanted it. Like a good friend of the program, guy I've had on the show, Mark Payton. He went to Texas. He rocked those. So he's going to be on your graphic, but fortunately can't get him. But like shout out Mark Payton for those Texas uniforms. So, and then I got to get a pinstripe on mine. I don't have a single pinstripe. So I got to go with the Mississippi State. Just recently won the national championship. Was it
2021? Yeah.
And those uniforms they got, they're clean. Love the pinstripes. Could have gone Arkansas pinstripes. Could have gone UCLA pinstripes. Could have gone Virginia white, but I like having Mississippi State here. Just like a known baseball school back to the days of Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiros. So I'm happy Mississippi State there at the 5th pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Can't go wrong with Mississippi State. Got a big history.
We're going to put a poll on the Instagram story here, and we're going to see whose list wins better. So anyways, this is going to be the end of the episode. Kyle, let's link your plug your links for socials and stuff. Help us man get an NIL deal.
Yeah, my Instagram is Kyle Rossy 2. My TikTok is KRossy2, ROSSY for both. Twitter is KRossy6, and I mean that's pretty much it. I've really enjoyed being on the show.
And as you know, you can follow me anywhere at Zoomer.sports, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You can also follow Andrew Moody, myself, if you are so inclined to. But Kyle, this was a great time talking to you. We haven't spoke in like person, like over FaceTime since maybe like one of the first weekends being back at school for the first time. That's another thing. We were both here in the summer, so we've experienced that more of being away from home, and like I missed you, man. So I appreciate you coming on and
of course
joining the show, and I hope you had a good time, man.
It was a good time, and I can't wait to be back.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving break's gonna be so much fun. All right, guys, thank you for listening to Zoomer Sports Radio. Thank you to Kyle for coming on. We'll see you guys later, and this is gonna wrap it up for episode 48. I'll see y'all later.